Hello YouTube, I'm back to discuss more Total Drama, but we are not discussing Total Drama proper this time. I am making a pit stop to discuss Total Drama Presents the Ridonculous Race. Total Drama itself, it's usually a parody of Survivor, but this time it is a parody of The Amazing Race. We've got duos and they are racing around the world to win. If the Ridonculous Race was a spin-off I did not enjoy, I would just skip on over it. But I think the Ridonculous Race is unskippable and it is up there with the best of Total Drama. So that's why we are here to discuss it today. Just because this is a spin-off doesn't mean I'm not going to treat this review like I've treated all the other Total Drama reviews. And that means we are first going to discuss the host. It is Dawn this time around. No more Chris McLean. We have Dawn, and I would definitely bring back the Survivor Amazing Race comparisons. Chris McLean definitely is more of a Jeff Probst, and Dawn is more of a Phil Keoghan. Jeff gets a lot more attention for Survivor. Chris gets a lot more attention for Total Drama. More screen time, more involvement. But Phil, he has been holding it down on that show for season after season. He always does his job. You can never point to any flaws of Phil. He does it well, but he doesn't stick out as much as Jeff or Chris, who are very flawed, pretty controversial, I would say, especially lately for Jeff in particular. After how drained I was with Chris after Pacto Island, having the host be not nearly as involved in the show was very welcome. I appreciated it a lot. He can be pretty funny. We get a lot of small little bits here with Dawn, and they get laughs out of me. So maybe Dawn doesn't pop too much in the season. You're not gonna write home about Dawn's character by the end of the show, but I appreciated Dawn's presence on this show. I've said it before in my Total Drama reviews, but I think how you feel about the host kind of is similar to how you feel about season. So I'd say I feel about Dawn. It's a nice refresh for the show. It's kind of back to basics, but also it's something new. It's not the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of the Total Drama franchise, but when you do think of it, you think nice things. That is Dawn, and that is Total Drama, the Ridonculous Race. Dawn has no Chef Hatchet, so let's just get right on into the contestants, and I will be going in elimination order. In 18th place, we have the LARPers, Leonard and Tammy. Leonard, known for being in Pacto Island and being a pretty early boot on there too. Listen, I'm probably gonna speed run the first few teams. Like, let's be for real. They have 18 teams on this show. We do have 26 episodes, which... Oh, thank you. Thank you. But we got some cannon fodder teams on this season, and it's fine, like, we gotta do it. But I think having one of the cannon fodder teams be a former returnee was an interesting wrinkle, and again, I get a cackle out of Leonard's bit. I didn't see too much of it to where it annoyed me. I was not sad when he left first, though. Now, Tammy, I have to say, I've never made a negative comment about any voice acting in Total Drama ever. And if you don't comment on something, that means it's good. I think Total Drama has some of the best voice acting I've ever seen in animation. Just, mwah. So many good performances. Tammy is the one Total Drama voice acting performance that sticks out to me like a sore thumb, and I'm thinking, oh, this was a mistake. I don't know if that was the intention, but it just doesn't fit. So I'm glad she got up out of here quickly. Tammy could not hold a candle to Leonard, and I would say part of that is the voice acting, but she also didn't have many lines either. So to leave a negative impression on me with so few lines, it's kind of like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Bye, Tammy. Bye, Leonard. It was fun for your 2 episodes. 17th place, we had the tennis rivals, Pete and Jerry, I don't know. I'll leave that in. That is how I feel about them as a team. Their bickering was funny, and honestly, they are kind of memorable. I don't know. I was amused, but like bye, we knew they weren't lasting. The third team eliminated was Elodie and Mary, the geniuses, and I enjoyed them. They did not have much screen time, of course. I mean, look how early they were booted. I've watched The Amazing Race most of the seasons. I can't say I've seen them all. With The Amazing Race, I always have to pull for the girl teams because I am so used to them not really having a fighting chance in The Amazing Race. It's really unfortunate, but this isn't an Amazing Race video. So coming into the Ridonculous race, I was watching The Amazing Race back then, so like, yeah, I've been a fan. I know my reality TV. So coming into the Ridonculous race, I kind of had my eye on every girl team. Like, okay, I hope to see some of you do well. This is animated, so let's get some girl success. So seeing Elodie and Mary leave early, it was disappointing for me, but in this watch of the show, I've seen Ridonculous race quite a few times by now, but I still pick up on things. This time around, I appreciated their arc of being so smart and so good at everything. They forget to think about the little things, and that's what happened to them. They made their plans in the sand, and all it took was one wave to come and erase all their plans. For a second, I was like, oh, they would have thought of that. Come on now. But it's like, oh, they were just kind of in over their heads. And it was fun. They had a sweet ending. I wasn't too attached to them ever, but like, just a part of me always felt bad seeing them leave. Following them out as the fourth team eliminated, we had the vegans, Lori and Miles, and I was disappointed to see two girl teams leave back to back, because oh my gosh, I'm so used to seeing this happen in The Amazing Race. I am uniquely qualified to talk about this team because for like 7 years now, I've been a vegan myself. I believe when the Ridonculous race first aired, I was vegetarian, so I did have some sort of rooting interest in this team. But what this team is, it is mocking a certain section of the vegan community, or just kind of like the activist community in general, where it's very performative. Part of me is like, okay, I gotta pull for these girls a little bit. But the other part of me is like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect read on these people. I don't like to admit that about myself. I don't like to admit that I'm vegan really, unless I like have to, you know? Because I don't want to be lumped into the people who give it such a bad reputation when it's just like, it's just another thing. It's a drop in the bucket for me. So part of me is like, oh, girls, get it together. But the other part of me is just cracking up at how good of a read it is on these people who commit themselves to some sort of cause, but then they're just total hypocrites. Like we had Lori, she was forced to eat meat in a challenge, and I felt bad for her because like, oh my gosh, don't make her eat it. Give her something else. But she eats it and she likes it. And she's like craving it, and it's like all sorts of messy. Like for shame, Lori, for shame. And Miles shames her. Miles is like, oh, I'm better than you. She has a superiority complex, which is very common for people when they take a cause. It's because they want to feel better about themselves. They want to feel like they're above people. And very wrong. That is a wrong thing to do. But having it mocked here, it was hilarious. So the vegans, I enjoy their little arc. I think it's entertaining, and I think of all the people who've been booted so far, the vegans are the most memorable. Part of me wishes they lasted a little bit longer because I feel like we could have dug out some more stuff, but it was a fine placement for them. The next team eliminated was Tom and Jen, the fashion bloggers, and I really have nothing to say about these two. They got no real screen time at all until their boot episode, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is your time to go. That has always been a flaw for The Amazing Race. That's something that was in this show. I didn't mind it as much here because, like, I remember when I was first watching the Ridonculous race, I could tell, like, when it was somebody's episode a lot of the time, but I was also surprised a lot of times. So I'd say this season did it fine for somebody on their first watch. And then if you're rewatching, like, you're watching for the comedy, please. This was just, like, the most, like, okay, they're just here to take up a spot team ever. It was fun to see them, like, implode on each other and start really going at each other. Tom trying to make fezzes happen. Oh, never gonna happen. But then it, like, kind of happens at the end. Like, they had a sweet exit. They're fine. Nothing to write home about. Irrelevant characters. Bye. The sixth team eliminated was Kelly and Taylor, the mother and daughter. Another girl team out pretty early. They stuck too true to the Amazing Race format. This time around on this rewatch, I've been watching it while the current season of Amazing Race has been airing. And it was so funny to me. Of all the stereotypes they chose here, which a lot of them are in The Amazing Race, there was a team on this season of The Amazing Race, I think it's season 37 that's airing right now, that kind of behaved just like Kelly and Taylor. And I just get such a kick out of it. Like, oh, they really did their homework on this one. So Kelly is the mother who is good at everything, but doesn't get any of the credit for it. And Taylor is the bratty daughter who just views the world as working in her favor when it's really her mom, and she doesn't give her mom any credit. It's played for comedy and it gets some good laughs out of me. I find it entertaining. I know a lot of people find Taylor annoying. I get a kick out of it. I really do love Kelly though. I think Kelly was a great character. It was so cool to see her really do well in these challenges. And it was cool to see her, like, kind of stand up for herself a bit with Taylor as the truth came out. I was really pulling for them again because of the girl thing. And, oh, it just kind of stinks to see them leave. They were doing pretty good in the challenge, but they stopped to go shopping before hitting the mat. But they wanted to be eliminated at this point, so let them be eliminated. They get to stay in Dubai. They get to go do some shopping. So good for you two girls. I do wish they lasted a little bit longer, or we switched some stuff around, just because, like, oh, don't take all the girl teams from me so quickly. But it was fine. The seventh team eliminated was the Adversity Twins, Jay and Mickey. They are watered down versions of Cameron who are much more extreme. Just complete nerds who are scared of the world. Like, put them in a bubble. They have no business on this show. It was their time to leave episodes before they actually left, and I didn't care about them. So, next team. So after this, we had a double elimination where two teams went. The team that placed lower in 11th place were the stepbrothers, Lorenzo and Chet. This team started off bickering a lot. They were fighting through every challenge, but they were making it through. Nothing really to write home about. They got a little more interesting when they started to get along and they were bonding more. And it was a nice arc to see. And by the time they left, they were good friends. They were pals. They were like, okay, we like each other. It was time for them to go, but I definitely enjoyed their arc. You were here. You're gone. The world keeps spinning. In 10th place, we have the Rockers, Rock and Spud. And I will tell you, I really wanted them to be eliminated. So I was a little irritated when I saw that the stepbrothers were the ones being eliminated originally. When I first watched the show, I was like, oh, come on. It should have been the Rockers. They're so much more annoying. But then Dawn says, nope, you're both leaving. And I was like, oh, let's take out the trash. Bye. Good riddance. Like, oh my gosh. These Rockers overstayed their welcome on this show. The shtick was a little funny at first. This guy is super competent and he's kind of carrying the team. This other guy is incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. He comes in for a save every once in a while, but like, it's not that entertaining. This was, of the teams that like were relevant in the show, the Rockers were my least favorite. I just found them so annoying. I was so glad when they went home. Truthfully, I wish back when the vegans lost in their non-elimination or one of the other non-elimination legs, I wish they would have just ditched the Rockers then. Like, they were just taking up airtime. It was so lame. The 9th place team was Dwayne and Junior, father, son. This is a father going through a midlife crisis and a child who sticks out as the youngest on the cast because he's visibly very young, not even hit puberty yet. So it was an interesting dynamic to watch play out. Like, this father drags his son into his midlife crisis. His son is the more capable one on the team and is carrying them through a lot of legs. And he really wants to go after the win and everything. But his father's dragging him down. I think Dwayne is very funny, actually. I found him to be a good source of comedy. And it was interesting to watch Junior kind of be the normal one, but he still stuck out because of how young he was. These two definitely had one of the bigger arcs for the mid-season boots. And when they left, I was like, okay, this is a good time for you to go. But while they were there, I enjoyed them. And that's about all I can say on them, really. Like, they were never going to win. They were not my favorite team. Good comedy source, though. And this is a very funny season. I'll just say this now. This season has such sharp writing. They were on it for all 26 of these episodes. The next team eliminated were the reality TV pros, Owen and Noah, returning OGs, the only full returnee team. These two had a great dynamic in Total Drama World Tour, and it was kind of cut short because Noah didn't last very long. I think this was the best outing for both of these characters. I made it very clear how not fond I am of Owen and how I do not find him funny at all. But honestly, he worked here for me. He was dialed down a bit more. There were a lot more wacky characters on this season that kind of fell in line with Owen, so it wasn't like he was the odd one out. We also got to see Owen in some pretty interesting character dynamics without Noah. Particularly, he often got teamed off with Kitty, and I'll get into the Noah of that in a second. But seeing him and Kitty kind of buddy up a little bit, Owen played sidekick to Noah. I really enjoyed that. I don't like Owen as a main character, but as a side character, sidekick, yeah, that's like what he's destined to be. They used him the best they could have used Owen. And he's at his most likable here. He goes from a character who I just despise to a character I'm like, okay, you know what? It was nice to see you here, Owen. Now, I have to talk about Noah, though, because this was the season where we saw the most of Noah. He lasted the most episodes. He got to carry his own storyline instead of just kind of being a side piece to another storyline. We got to see Noah in a new light. This show isn't so heavy on the strategy, which is kind of where Noah shines, so we get to see him a bit weaker. This show kind of humbled him a bit more, I would say. And I guess Noah was also a little more mature, too. Like, he was not as snarky as usual. We got to see a more humanized Noah. This especially rang true when he suddenly, like, got his crush on Emma. Like, it was like overnight. Okay, yeah, I'm in love with Emma. Whoa. But I think Noah and Emma are a cute couple. It got a little annoying towards the end. By the time these two got booted, I was like, okay, it's a good time for you. You can hold your head up high, but yeah, it's your time. Like, I've about had enough. It was just like a little annoying, but it was like annoying to characters in the show too. So it like I like got it, and it didn't ruin what we were doing with both these characters. Like, I was still like, oh, Noah and Emma are sweet. Oh no, one of them's leaving. Okay, it's his time to go. But this little arc of Noah falling in love was very cute. This team is one of the highlights of this season, I would say. I will say that, yeah. Owen and Noah. And look at me giving Owen credit. Growth. Because even a few years ago, I'd watch the show and I would just not give Owen any credit, but I will give you some credit, Owen. I'm mature, I'm evolved. The next team eliminated are the Goths, Enway and Crimson. And oh my gosh, scene stealers. Every single scene these Goths had, so funny. I thought these characters originally, I thought they'd be cannon fodder and leave early, but especially because they didn't really care to be there. They were like, okay, so nonchalant, so uncaring. But no, they make a deep run, and I'm really grateful for it because, oh my gosh, hilarious. Part of me thinks if they really committed themselves to the show, they could easily win. But also, maybe it's because they don't care that they did so well. They would just go off on their own and do stuff in the middle of the challenges and still survive. They were having fun when they wanted to have fun. Their kind of breakout episode was when the cast went to Transylvania. We know the connection between Transylvania and vampires, and goths and vampires, best friends. But anytime we went to a darker location, goths were about to get their life. We just knew. I think I can confidently say the Goths were the funniest team on this season. I was sad to see them leave, but also it was you gave us so much, and I don't think you would have been proper winners, but I'm glad you made it this far. That's how I felt about the Goths. The next team eliminated came back into the show, so we'll talk about them later. And the team after that were the daters / the haters, Stephanie and Ryan. This is a team who was made to bicker. We've seen this so much in The Amazing Race. These couples get on the show and they just fall apart. The first few episodes, Stephanie and Ryan are very lovey-dovey all over each other. Oh, it makes me sick. Get your romance out of here and focus on the game. But then they get on each other's last nerve. They break up on the show, but they are still teamed together. And they change their team name from the daters to the haters. And we get them bickering back and forth. And it is so funny to me. I totally was amused by every scene this team had. Now, Stephanie, she was definitely the one stirring the pot the most, and she did a lot this season. I will say about Total Drama overall, we know they're good with female antagonists. And that's what we have here with Stephanie. She's not the main antagonist of the season, but she's very antagonistic. She is such a force on this season, Stephanie is. To watch the way she would just make Ryan go through these awful scenarios without a care in the world, it was hilarious. Oh my god, when she boomeranged her own team, oh my gosh, I was cracking up. I literally had to pause the show when that happened just to laugh because it was so funny. No. And Ryan was so bad. Yeah, she just do little stuff like that. And then in the challenges too. I remember they had the choice of the 3 peppers, and Stephanie, she just goes for the mild pepper without hesitation. Stephanie is another case of the animated characters having such insane strength. So when we have this lion challenge, we just see that she was fighting the lion and she shoved it down in a hole. I love seeing how threatening she was and how much of a force she was. She definitely had her strengths, but she also had her weaknesses. I think Stephanie was a very well-balanced character. I could see why maybe some people hate her, but just laugh at it. Come on. Ryan's no saint. He's definitely less of the dramatic force in this scenario. He's not perfect either. It takes 2 to tango. Now, speaking on Ryan himself, though, he got a bit more interesting in the later half of the episodes when he was forming a friendship with Carrie, who was going through her own like relationship problems, which I will get into momentarily. I thought this friendship did a lot for both of these characters, both of whom didn't really stick out to me too much, but they really helped each other out and brought out other sides in each other that makes me like them both a bit more. There is, and that also, that added some drama of its own, because then we had Stephanie and Devin kind of being like, oh, do they like each other? When it was clearly just a friendship, and it was a sweet friendship. I love the drama. Total drama. They gave us some drama. But I think Stephanie and Ryan were one of the standout teams for me, actually, yeah. The next team eliminated or evacuated were Devin and Carrie, the best friends. And this is a team that I just don't think worked for the season. And I would probably say it's the biggest flaw of the season, especially because of how prominent they were throughout. So they're the best friends. We immediately see that Carrie has a crush on Devin and Devin is in a relationship. So like, okay, we never really got to explore them as just best friends. So I never got invested in them. The season just starts and I'm thinking, Carrie girl, get it together. Are you not embarrassed? And I never really see the appeal in Devin either, because every line out of his mouth is Shelly. Shelly and I. Shelly, 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 Shelly. Like, oh my gosh. If I had to hear Shelly's name one more time, I was going to explode. So I think starting this storyline of will they, won't they so soon in the season did not work at all. It was an uphill battle for me to ever care about this team. And I really did not like this team at all. Until about halfway, like when the Ryan and Carrie stuff started to happen, when Devin got dumped, when Carrie like got over Devin. Yeah, they flipped the script in about mid-season, where then it became Devin pining after Carrie and Carrie being the one not so interested. I did not really respect that, because I'm like, Devin, you've just got out of a relationship and you're really trying to pursue your best friend right now, like embarrassing. But then I was really proud of Carrie when she finally did the right thing. I still didn't quite like her, but I grew to like her, and I'd give Ryan a lot of credit for that. And I'm glad she was not caving into any of Devin's hijinks. I guess I did feel a little bad for Carrie when Devin was going through the stages of grief. I guess that was kind of funny, but also I was just kind of checked out of this team still. And it was annoying too. I remember first airing, I wanted this team out so bad. I was so annoyed when they'd add new layers to the storyline, because it would just become so obvious, like, okay, well, we're obviously not getting rid of them anytime soon, because we keep adding stuff to the storyline that's clearly gonna have to be resolved before they leave. Oh, when I tell you, I really hated this team back in the day. Like, I really did. It's taken a lot for me to even right now be like, okay, I kind of liked at least Carrie by the end, but I never liked Evan. I just, oh my god, I wanted to, oh. So, we got like 3 episodes left of the season. It's between Devin and Carrie and Emma and Kitty. And they beat Emma and Kitty to the finish line. I was so mad. Oh my gosh, I was so mad. Like, you don't even know. Oh! And by this point, Devin and Carrie had like gotten back together. So it's like, okay, their storyline's resolved. Get him out of here. Get him off this show. So I was like, oh, they really survived this. But then Emma and Kitty, they come on too strong and push Devin off a cliff. Karma. Karma hit him in that moment. Oh, it was sweet. Devin had to be medically evacuated, and he took Carrie down with him. Good riddance. I would have just preferred if they got like a proper exit here. I don't really like how the end game went, which I will get into momentarily. But yeah, like, I was just so glad that they were gone. Like, it was a sloppy exit, but I was just relieved. Like, get him out of here. But yeah, I think this was a great concept, and there were moments where I definitely saw what they were going for, but it just didn't work out. I really do think this is like the one thing I really hold against this season. Like, Devin Carrier too much. But it's just how it is. And then we have made it to the 2-part finale. And in the first episode, we lose Emma and Kitty, the sisters. Oh my God, when I tell you, it still hurts me to watch that second to last episode. Oh. Kitty and Emma, they were the underdogs of this season. I really thought they were gonna pull out the win. Oh, it just hurts. Let me jump back though and discuss what actually happened with these two to make me so devastated when they lost. So the season starts with Emma and Kitty, and they're clearly not getting on the same page always. Emma is very type A, control freak, always telling Kitty what to do. Kitty's more go with the flow. She'll let stuff slide. But she is not to be underestimated either. Like, she knows what she's doing, but Emma doesn't see it that way. Neither of them are fully right. Neither of them are fully wrong. But they're just not on the same page. We see Emma talking down to Kitty a lot. But Kitty and Emma eventually do kind of get on the same page, and they start respecting each other a bit more. Emma realizes what Kitty brings to the table, and Emma gets Kitty to start taking things more seriously through her influence. And we even see the script flipped a little bit when Emma kind of checks out of the game because of her romance. Kitty kind of steps up and starts taking it serious in her place. So they really balance each other well. Now, I already spoke about the romance a lot. I think it was great for Emma to open up, and we see another side of her, this romantic side. We see that she's not all just game, lawyer, everything's serious. We get to see a looser side of her. I think it is taken to the extreme a little bit, but it was like still fun. It was like on the edge. I think maybe Noah dragged her down a little bit, and she dragged Noah up a little bit. But I'd still say it works. I'd say they're one of the best total drama couples out there. I was so glad that Emma and Kitty outlasted Owen and Noah, though, because they had a lot more going on than Owen and Noah, and like we've seen Owen and Noah. So I was really glad that we got to see them really hold their own for a good chunk of episodes. Like, they lasted quite a bit longer than Owen and Noah, who they were mid-season boots. And yeah, these two made it to the finale. So once Owen and Noah leaves, we see Emma and Kitty kind of refocus. They get back in the mix with the other characters. But it's still very much everybody's underestimating them. Everybody's looking over them. Everybody's like, oh, this is the team we can beat. The Ice Dancers are even trying to sabotage Emma and Kitty for a hot minute. They're successful a lot, but it's like, oh, come on, Emma and Kitty, beat those Ice Dancers. You could do it. You are good. They do get a first place finish in one of the legs. I was so happy for them. But then we get to this finale. It kind of goes off the edge, though, when we get the return of the surfers. And the surfers kind of take Emma and Kitty's place as the underdogs. They had been gone for quite a few episodes, but at this point, so to just have them come back, and they're not really relevant to the story, and they just kind of take Emma and Kitty's place, and Emma and Kitty exit. It was anticlimactic. But yeah, Emma and Kitty are performing the best of the best. They're in first place. And then Kitty nearly dies. She gets dragged away by a fish and gets stuck down in a cave. And it's like genuinely like stressful to watch. Like, oh my gosh, get her out. Like, we know she's gonna live. But it was, oh, I don't know, it was kind of too much. Like, this is the extent we have to go to sabotage this team, take them out. It left a bad taste in my mouth, I'll be honest. But yeah, they are the first team out in the finale. It rolled. They should have won. These two should have been winners. It should have been them and the cadets. But that's not how it was. They can leave holding their heads high. They had their finished arc. Emma's gonna go get her man, so like she won. Kitty is fabulous, so Kitty won too. She saved her own life. She like killed it. Come on, Kitty. Oh, they would have been the perfect winners of this season. They really would have. I think definitively this is my favorite team of the season, Emma and Kitty. I loved them from the start. So in third place, we have the ice dancers, Jose and Jax. They're taking the bronze placement. We learned at the start of the season, these two hate nothing more than bronze. And what ends up happening? They get the bronze placement. Oh, delicious. And you kind of know it's going to happen from the start, because like, why would they put this in here if they're not going to pay it off? It doesn't make it any less juicy to see it happen. This is the team that was in the front for most of the season, the front runner. So yeah, these are our antagonists of the season. Like, we had Stephanie and Ryan, but that was like just them fighting in their team. These two, or more so Jose, was terrorizing the entire cast, and it was delicious. They were fantastic villains. I think Jax is fun and all. There's not much to say about him. Like, he was very much a part of the team. He was good. But Jose, she's the reason for the season. This girl would get so wound up over the smallest of things. Nobody is more competitive than Jose. She cheated and cheated and cheated and did all these dirty things, all these dirty tricks. She was enjoying it too. Like, she was having the time of her life sabotaging these people. I love a villain who embraces their villainy. So at the start of the season, we see them as like these good performers. We can definitely pick up on the vibes that they are fake. Faker than press-on nails. Every time you see them running along and just got these smiles planted on their face. They're always finding the camera, putting on an act. It was so delicious to see them. But then we'd have these moments where they lose that smile when they're like, okay, our spot in this show is threatened right now. And they get serious. Oh, it was juicy. Such an incredible art choice to have them have this facade and to have them drop it at points throughout the season. Things really hit the fan for these two when Jose loses her lucky rabbit's foot. They're in Hawaii. She takes a lava rock, takes it off the island, and to remove the lava rock from Hawaii, bad luck. So they are on a bit of a losing streak, and they're like really spiraling. All bad luck. It was nice to see them unravel. It was refreshing because they got very full of themselves. What do? They have to fly back to Hawaii mid-leg, then fly back. Keep racing. Man, I'm very lucky it wasn't on a limb. Lucky. Like, please. But then they get back to it, and they're back to their cheating ways. And we see them have particular feuds with a few teams. Like, they definitely come for Emma and Kitty a lot, which is unfortunate that Emma and Kitty didn't get to outlast the Ice Dancers, but I digress. But the main feud ended up being between Jose and MacArthur. MacArthur eventually won out, but these two were just so extreme, and to see them go at it, very entertaining. And that all led us to them losing in the finale, and it was just, what an ending to their story. Perfect ending. Not only is Jose one of the best characters on this season, she is one of the all-time total drama characters. Such a force, so conniving, but also very flawed. Perfect. I would be very interested to see how she performed on like an actual total drama season. And that leads us to the two winners. I'm going to talk about the team that I don't acknowledge as winners first. That is the Surfers, Jeff and Brody. Jeff returning. And I do feel a type of way about Jeff returning without Bridget, or Bridget not returning at all and having Jeff here. It rubs me the wrong way from the start. Like, I like Bridget better. I don't really want to see Jeff without Bridget. I'd also just rather see Bridget entirely. But fine, Jeff's the cool guy. He's here with Brody, the new guy. Whatever. That's how it is. I can't believe they won. This team never really had relevancy or a relevant storyline. And I guess it makes sense that they eliminated them for a few episodes, a few crucial episodes, because, like, what were they going to do for the storyline? But then just to bring them back and they return in the finale, have the easiest time competing in the finale. Like, easiest win ever. Like, they were already eliminated. Sure, they, like, sacrificed themselves for Devin and Carrie. Like, sure, but, like, they were eliminated. They were gone for several episodes. Then they just come in and steal the win out from Emma and Kitty. So frustrating. Oh, I guess it's like nice guys do win, but like they had no character. Like they had no story. It's not satisfying. It was not satisfying at all. I guess it was good to see Jeff as like a cool, chill guy again after his aftermath. And I think Brody was fine. Nothing to write home about. I just can't believe these two won. It was like they were gone. They weren't missed. They had their exit. They went out with their heads held high, and but I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like I don't like this. I have watched every alternate ending up to this point. I just couldn't even bring myself to watch this alternate ending because I just think it is such an embarrassment to have a team that lost, was gone for several episodes of the show, come back and be a champion and have the easiest. Like, it would even be better if they were like really fighting for their lives in the finale. But no, they were the front runners the whole finale. Oh, awful ending. It kind of sours me on the season entirely, but not really. And I will get into that now with the true winners, MacArthur and Sanders, the cadets. Oh, the girl team winning. Oh, yes. The first half of the season, Sanders and MacArthur are very much the underdogs. They're consistently in the back of the pack, I would say. Never really in danger of going. But they're underdogs, yeah. And then about halfway between the season, they kind of become front runners. So this dynamic it's pretty good cop, bad cop. But it's a bit more complicated than that. Good cop is definitely Sanders. Bad cop is MacArthur. I think MacArthur is very funny. She kind of reminds me of Owen. Not everything lands, but I'd say a lot lands for MacArthur here. And I see why she's kind of stuck around in the total drama world, because she really is funny. And there's a lot to do with her character. MacArthur is chaos, and Sanders is calm. Their story arc is pretty much Sanders reeling MacArthur in. MacArthur comes in clutch in a lot of challenges, but Sanders is generally pretty good at everything, kind of underappreciated. It really reaches ahead in this episode where MacArthur just completely ignores Sanders and breaks Sanders' arm. Honestly, I kind of started to hate MacArthur in that moment. You'd really do that to your partner? But they got a second chance at life. MacArthur was very remorseful. Sanders forgave her, so I forgave her. It was rough, though. Like, I was really mad at MacArthur for a few episodes. But I do like MacArthur. I think she's funny. I think she's fun. I think she is compelling. But while MacArthur is more of the flashy character, Sanders is the character I loved of this duo. I love them as a duo. But I really loved Sanders. She is so patient, so kind, but she's also really smart. Very savvy, and she is strong too. I want MacArthur's glutes exercise routine because she's got the glutes. But Sanders, she can hold her own in the strength too. She's not to be underestimated. MacArthur underestimated her a little bit, but they definitely do work as a duo. So after the broken arm incident, Sanders really takes center stage and stops letting MacArthur steamroll her. I do wish she did it a little sooner. I do wish it didn't have to come to such dire circumstances. But it was good. It was really good. And Sanders really got them the win. I would say Sanders was the best strategist on this show because she was making every right decision for their team towards the end of it. I was particularly pleased when MacArthur wanted to team up with Jose and Sabotage a little bit. Sanders stepped it back. And Sanders is so clever. She is somebody you'd want in your corner. And I'm really glad that Sanders and MacArthur got their win. They're the true winners of this season. I would say they're some of the best total drama winners out there. And their ending, I would say it's Heather. She's the best, hands down, ever. Ever. Like, nobody's topping Heather. It's so satisfying. I would probably say the cadets rank right below her. I wish Emma and Katie were here too, and it was them as alternate endings, because both of them outranking the Ice Dancers would have just been perfect way to wrap up the season. But I'm glad the cadets at least got to have that ending, and it was fantastic. So yeah, that wraps up my thoughts on the Ridonculous race. A truly stellar season. I would say the ending keeps it from competing with the first 3 total drama seasons. And it is a little hard to rank this season because it's a different format. But if I'm gonna rank it, I would firmly rank it below the first 3 seasons. Like, it's right in the mix. Like, these are the 4 total drama seasons, at least up until this point. I would love a Ridonculous race season 2. I think it would be spectacular. Only if they had 26 episodes, though. No, we're not doing 13 episodes of Ridonculous race. I'd also be interested in seeing them spoof the other CBS show, Big Brother. I think that could be very interesting. But I'm so glad the Ridonculous race exists. It is not to be underestimated. It is not to be overlooked. This is a season that you've got to see. So this is not the end of discussing the total drama seasons. The next season I am going to rewatch is Total Drama Rama. No, I'm not doing Total Drama Rama. Like, I don't hate it as much as everybody else hates it. But I will be rewatching and reviewing Total Drama Island, the reboot, season 1. I'm very excited. Look forward to it. I have good things to say. Well, hopefully it holds up on a rewatch. So look forward to that. Until next time. Bye.